Tonight, we report on the latest primary election results and how much Big Bend Community College is cutting tuition. What's happening in sports, Bob?
Plenty, Amber. The Apple Sox and Sweets go at it in Game 2 of their 3-game series, and an all-time great is being inducted to the Mariner Hall of Fame. Here's a quick glance at our Weather Center forecast.
Hello everyone, I'm Cristina Sanchez. For today, we did have high temperatures slightly below average for this time of year, but we'll have some changes. I'll have all the details just ahead with your extended forecast.
I'm Amber Jinks, and we have all this and much more on iFIBER 1 News.
From the iFIBER 1 HD studio here in the heart of the Columbia Basin, this is iFIBER 1 News, your #1 source for local news, sports headlines, and our very own Weather Center forecast covering the entire Columbia Basin. This is iFIBER 1 News, and it starts now.
One of the challengers for a Moses Lake Council seat remains uncertain as more votes were counted Wednesday. The Grant County Auditor's Office has counted 7,000 votes for the primary. They reported 90 remain to be counted. The majority of the races remain the same, but the second candidate running to replace Council member John Lane remains uncertain. Challengers Julia Hodgson and Mike Norman remain separated by 1 vote. Hodgson was leading after votes were counted Tuesday night. Norman took the lead Wednesday afternoon with 412 votes. Hodgson has 411 votes. In another Moses Lake Council race, Peter Steffens endorsed his former opponent, Don Myers. Both were challenging incumbent council member Jason Avila for his spot. Convicted murderer David Nichols is appealing his conviction, but the Grant County Prosecutor's Office won't be handling the case. Reporter Joe Utter has the details.
David Nichols is appealing his conviction for the murder of Sage Monroe, and the Grant County Prosecutor's Office has asked for help. The Prosecutor's Office asked the Kitsap County Prosecutor's Office to handle the appeal after determining Prosecutor Garth Dano and Chief Deputy Alan White have conflicts of interest with the murder case. Nichols, a 34-year-old Montana man, was convicted in 2012 of murdering Ephrata resident Sage Monroe outside of his E Street home. He was sentenced in April 2013 to 25 years in prison. Dano requested the help after he won the election last year because he provided commentary for iFIBER 1 News during the trial. White represented a material witness during the trial. The defense's 100-page brief includes 15 issues and 65 sub-issues with the case. The record of the case includes 6,000 pages and 41 volumes of transcripts. This is Joe Utter for iFIBER 1 News.
A Moses Lake School District employee is suspected of stealing at least $1,000 in tools and electronics from the school district. Al-Karim Shadid, a 45-year-old Moses Lake man, was arrested for felony theft. According to School District Superintendent Michelle Price, Shadid was employed as a substitute custodian in April of 2012 and was recently terminated. He is suspected of stealing lawnmowers, leaf blowers, miscellaneous tools from the district, as well as iPads from the Columbia Basin Technical Skills Center. In 2011, Shadid was granted clemency after receiving a sentence of life in prison for a 1994 robbery conviction under the state's 3 strikes law. Shadid's first 2 strikes were robberies in 1991 and 1989 in California. He spent about 17 years in prison. The Moses Lake Chamber of Commerce is not associated with Universal AdCom. According to the Chamber, people are receiving emails from the Arlington, Texas-based company asking for personal information in exchange for tote bags and magnets. The company is not working for or with the Chamber. The company has at least 182 complaints filed against it with the Better Business Bureau during the past 3 years and a minimum of 58 in the past 12 months. Now we take a look at people being sought by law enforcement.
This is Sheriff Tom Jones with the Grant County Sheriff's Office. Each of the people you see here have a warrant for their arrest. If you see any of these people, we ask you do not attempt to detain or apprehend them, but call us at 509-762-1160 or send us an email at crimetips@co.grant.wa.us. If the person is presenting a danger, call 911. With your help, we can bring these people to justice and make our community safer.
We'll be back right after this.
My name is Kat Sanderson, Managing Broker for Pillar Rock Realty Group. We love the Columbia Basin because it's our home, and we want to give back to our community by kicking off our Pay It Forward campaign. If you buy or list with us, we will donate 1% of our total proceeds to a local charity of your choice and in your name. Call us today at 754-4444 or visit pillarrockrealty.com because we are your local real estate experts.
Now for your iFIBER 1 News Weather Center forecast.
Hello everyone, I'm Cristina Sanchez with your local weather, brought to you by Barry Motors, one great place to buy and service a car. We do have an upper level low pressure system that is moving away off to the east. This will bring a drier air mass. There is also a deep trough in the upper levels of the atmosphere are to our west that is bringing that westerly flow, but as it moves off to the east for tomorrow, it'll bring in drier air mass, and also it'll increase our temperatures for Friday afternoon and for the weekend. Throughout the last 24 hours, we did start off the day in the upper 50s for us here in Ephrata, close to that seasonably low temperature, which is in the low 60s, and today's high in the mid 80s. We'll feel that change in temperatures for tomorrow will be right around 90 degrees, which is seasonably warm for this time of year. For us here in Ephrata, our record high temperature for this time of year was set back in 1972, and it was 103. Our sunset is at 8:24. For you in Moses Lake, your low temperature today right at that average low temperature for this time of year in the upper 50s. Your high temperature in the mid 80s as well, and your record high temperature for this date was set back in 1972, and the high was 103. Right now, currently, we do have those comfortable temperatures still on the warm side in the low 80s. The winds blowing from the south between 5 to 10 miles an hour. I do expect for those winds to weaken as we go into the next 24 hours. Within the past 24 hours, we've had those winds in the Tri-City area right around up to 20 miles an hour. But for us, dry conditions will continue throughout the overnight hours into Friday afternoon within our Columbia Basin. There is a deep upper level trough that will move off to the east, and it will allow for that southerly flow to move in, bringing that increase in temperature, drier air mass for us here in the Columbia Basin. High temperatures will be closer to seasonably warm temperatures. Now along the coast, there is a slight chance of showers for you on Sunday morning and also in higher elevations, but for us, I do expect to stay dry Sunday afternoon in the Tri-Cities. I expect slight chance of showers and also going into Monday. But for Friday, plenty of sunshine in the Tri-City area as well as in the Yakima with highs in the low 90s, low 80s in Seattle with plenty of sunshine, and the inland northwest high temperatures for Friday not bad at all in the mid 80s and plenty of sunshine. As we take a closer view within our Columbia Basin, I do expect to have high temperatures closer to seasonably warm temperatures. Our average high is 90 degrees, and for us here in Ephrata, our high temperature for Friday afternoon will be in the upper 80s. Also for you in Moses Lake, Royal City, high temperatures will be right around 90 degrees with plenty of sunshine. For this weekend, within our Columbia Basin, I expect to stay dry with highs right around 90 degrees, and we'll start up the next work week with more cloud cover, low temperatures in the low 60s.
To save some energy, I've used Einstein's mass energy equivalents to design the haptic suits you see in front of you. They will maintain our core body temperature while we completely turn off our heat and air conditioning. With the money we save on our Grant PUD bill, I'll be expecting that trip to Disneyland this year.
You don't need to be a super genius to save energy and money. Visit grantpud.org to learn how.
The Apple Sox took a step closer to accomplishing an early goal of playing 500 ball when they took on the Walla Walla Sweets in Wenatchee last night. Here's Sean Wells with the story.
It was a beautiful night for a ball game in Wenatchee with the Apple Sox hosting the Walla Walla Sweets. The Sox were looking for a bounce-back win after a tough loss in the opening game of the series. Wenatchee's best hitter, Keston Ayera, kept things going in the first inning with this monster triple in the center field. This was Keston's 5th triple of the season. He now holds a single-season record for doubles, total bases, and triples. Walla Walla held a 2-0 lead into the 4th until the Sox knocked 3 runs across in the bottom frame. The Sweets scored in the 6th, tying the game, but in the bottom of the 6th, Wenatchee scored 2 more runs off a Walla Walla error. Wenatchee held on to take the contest 5-3 and even the 3-game series. Evan Douglas finished 3 for 5 at the plate, while Colton Loomis picked up the save for the Apple Sox. For iFIBER 1 News, Sean Wells.
The Apple Sox at 22-27 have an outside chance of reaching their goal of 500 ball, but must take 8 of their last 10 games to do it. Well, all-time Mariner great Jamie Moyer is being inducted to the team's Hall of Fame Saturday. During his 11-year stint with the M's, the lefty with the Bugs Bunny slow-moving off-speed arsenal of pitches racked up more wins than any arm in the history of the ball club. From 1996 to 2006, Moyer compiled a record of 145 wins and 87 losses. He still leads the franchise in wins, is second in innings pitched, starts, and quality starts, and is third in strikeouts with 1,239. Moyer was the Mariners' opening day starting pitcher 4 times and started the first game in Safeco Field history on July 15, 1999. He is the only pitcher to record 2 20-win seasons for Seattle, going 20-6 in 2001 and 21-7 in 2003. Moyer was an All-Star in 2003 and was named Mariners Pitcher of the Year by the Baseball Writers Association of America, Seattle chapter, 3 times. He's the 9th Mariner to be inducted and joins former M's greats Alvin Davis, Jay Buhner, Edgar Martinez, Dan Wilson, Randy Johnson, Ken Griffey Jr., manager Lou Piniella, and Hall of Fame announcer Dave Niehaus. Michael McHenry smacked a walk-off 2-run jack with 2 out, and the Rockies came back to beat the M's 7-5 in 11 innings. The loss snapped the Mariners' 3-game win streak. This was another wasted outing from an M starter. 7 1/3 innings of 3-run ball by Taijuan Walker, as the bullpen failed to produce once again, with Fernando Rodney giving up 2 RBI singles in the bottom of the 9th to send it to extra innings. Lamar Nagel scored a late goal off a cross by Andy Rose, and the Sounders escaped with a 1-1 draw with Vancouver. After a scoreless first half, Tim Parker redirected a Pedro Morales corner kick with a backheel flick, and the Whitecaps led 1-0 at the 61st minute. Nagel leveled the match in the 71st minute for his 5th goal of the season. We'll be right back after this break.
You don't have to drive to Seattle for exceptional cancer care. Confluence Health's cancer program delivers world-class care close to home. We have a highly experienced oncology team in a state-of-the-art facility, and we're a member of the Seattle Cancer Care Alliance, which gives our patients access to world-renowned therapies developed at Fred Hutchinson, the University of Washington Medicine, and Seattle Children's. Together with the SCCA, we're delivering world-class cancer care close to home.
Welcome back. Big Bend Community College is cutting tuition for students beginning in fall. The new tuition rate allows a full-time student to save approximately $300, or about 5%, in the next academic year. According to college officials, students taking a schedule of 15 credits per quarter will pay an annual tuition of $3,846 next year instead of the more than $4,000 they had to pay. The change is touted as a first decrease in college tuition and follows a 5-year period where tuition increased in Washington by 34%. In the 2015 state budget, the legislature made the reduction in tuition possible. People are going to be able to discuss the search for a new Moses Lake City manager on Monday. The Prothman Company is holding a community meeting to discuss the search with the public between 6 p.m. and 7:30 p.m. at the Civic Center Auditorium, located at 401 South Balsam Street. The company was hired to find a replacement for former city manager Joe Gavinsky in April. The company posted a job profile on their website. The profile includes a description of the city, the issues the new city manager faces, and a suggested salary of between $120,000 and $155,000. For more information, contact the City of Moses Lake at 509-764-3701. A longtime Moses Lake couple had an emotional farewell this week after selling their business to spend more time with family. Reporter Jeff Chu has the story.
It was an emotional time this week for the Asfor family who found the American dream in Moses Lake. John and Sarah Asfor sold and left behind the Moses Lake gas station and convenience store they toiled to make a success over the past 15 years. The Asfors immigrated from Egypt more than 20 years ago. They ended up working 7 days a week, up to 16 hours a day at the Moses Lake store.
After all these years of hard work, it's time to let go.
The unrelenting gas station work schedule took a toll on the Asfors. They wanted more family time.
We come in the morning, we open the store, we stay here until closing time.
So they sold the business to Balbir Mann, who owns 3 other gas stations and convenience stores in central Washington. His son Sarpreet is taking over management of the Moses Lake Texaco on Mayors Road near Kittleson Road and Interstate 90. Mann said the Asfors managed the store well and it was a good investment. The Asfors customers of many years wish them well, telling them they will be missed. Erica Martell of Moses Lake was one of the Asfors' regular customers.
I'm going to miss them a lot. They're great for the community. And they're always having smiles on their faces. So it's going to be hard not seeing them coming in here.
The Asfors came to America as Coptic Christians, a religion that Sarah said was persecuted in Egypt. She said they bought a store in Seattle and left because they did not like the big city. They found Moses Lake through their commercial real estate broker, Dan Fallon, who was on hand this week at the store to see the sale through. Fallon called the Asfors a classic tale of immigrants who found success in America.
To me, this is another example of the great immigrant story. It's the great American dream that these guys have lived. It's part of the reason why I like doing what I do, because since we specialize in gas stations, we see a lot of immigrant families, like both this seller and the buyer, who came here with nothing. They really came here with nothing, and now you see John and with their 2 kids going to University of Washington, both of them going to medical school. I mean, that's just a great feel-good story.
Their sons, David and John Paul, grew up in the store helping their parents and attended Moses Lake High School. David is going to medical school in Seattle, and John Paul is in San Francisco attending dental school. David says he'll miss the store, but has plans to return to Moses Lake as a doctor.
Oh, we all got something from it. We became very open with everybody. Everybody gained something, so it was an amazing thing for us.
Sarah Asfor said her family can now experience an American tradition.
We didn't know what's mean weekend. Now we're gonna know what's mean weekend.
I'm Jeff Chu for iFIBER 1 News.
That's going to do it for us here at iFIBER 1 News. We want to thank you for watching, and we'll see you again tomorrow.
Quincy Foods, LLC, a subsidiary of Norpac Foods, is seeking motivated individuals to fill the positions of general laborer for their corn harvest season. They have full-time seasonal openings, must be 18 years old and older, willing to work swing shift. Great people to work for in a challenging food processing environment. Apply at 222 Columbia Way in Quincy between 8 and 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, or online through WorkSource. Quincy Foods is an equal opportunity employer.
Our spotlight story tonight is about the history of Dry Falls near Coulee City. Reporter Jeff Chu met with a state parks ranger to explain how the area was formed.
Ranger David McWalter is the interpretive specialist for Washington State Parks at Dry Falls Visitor Center. This is the view behind his office, which he calls his favorite place. It's a 3.5-mile wide chasm of basalt with a drop of 400 feet. It was left high and dry thousands of years ago. What formed this unique geological phenomenon? McWalter explained.
The word that people use is catastrophic. 15,000 years ago, we had a catastrophic flood here, and not just one flood, but several floods over time. And those floods basically resulted in the carving out of Dry Falls.
McWalter shared how the lakes were formed at the bottom of Dry Falls.
What we're left with is these potholes of lakes and drainages and basalt columns, and I call it kind of like birthday cake. You kind of see the different layers.
The lakes that average 50 to 60 feet deep are habitat for fish, the likes of kokanee trout, perch, and channel catfish. The deepest lake, which just so happens to be called Deep Lake on the eastern side of the park, is more than 100 feet deep in places. Dry Falls Lake on the north end of the park is the next deepest body of water.
Unfortunately, as we've all been seeing the drought, it's been really dry, so all the lakes are actually going down.
The white cube-shaped Dry Falls Visitor Center was built in 1965. McWalter says the center sees about 100,000 visitors a year. McWalter, who has worked for the state park since 1999, is quick to say he loves his job.
It's just opening people's eyes to the natural world around them and being able to share a story of just so many important things you learn in nature. You know, like where we get, like right now, where we're going to get fresh water from.
The Visitor Center tells the story of Dry Falls, from lava flows to Ice Age floods to Native American legacy and the modern discovery of how Dry Falls was created. McWalter recommends taking the road into Dry Falls State Park, which originates a couple of miles south off State Route 17 at Sun Lakes Park. It winds through sagebrush, the lakes, and basalt rock formations of different shapes and sizes. You can see the Visitor Center seemingly hanging off the edge of the cliff. The center is dedicated to a man who first theorized that Dry Falls was created by extreme floods.
The biggest part of the center is dedicated to Professor J. Harlan Bretz. He is the reason for the Dry Falls Visitor Center.
McWalter shared what he sees as the most fascinating thing about the park.
People come to the desert and they think it's dry. There's nothing alive here. And I think what they're amazed with is there's a lot of life here in the desert. Basically, you just have to slow down and look.
Dry Falls is about 17 miles north of Soap Lake on State Route 17. I'm Jeff Chu for iFIBER 1 News.
We'll be right back after this.